Hello, buyers, and welcome to the Wholesale.fm podcast. We are the original voice of wholesale. I'm your host, Kevin Gallagher, and joining me on the program today is Joe Deighan, who is the president of JJuice. Joe, please introduce yourself to our listeners so that you can provide us with some background about yourself and how your company JJuice got
Kevin,
started.
Thanks so much for having me. I look forward to the opportunity to share a little bit about myself and how the company got started, definitely. My story is a little bit different, but I grew up in Southern California, and I love the ocean. I love bodyboarding. I love skimboarding. And then I didn't really know what it is I was going to do. I was getting a degree in entrepreneurship, and I knew I was ambitious about starting something, but I'm sure just like a lot of the retailers listening to this, they didn't necessarily know they were going to end up exactly where they ended up. But it's just an interesting span of events that happened. So even though I had this great love for the ocean, and that was my zen and my peace place, I kind of like, not to be corny here, but I took the road less traveled by, kind of like Robert Frost says, and I moved to Utah. So it sounds weird, but I moved to Utah, and I've actually been in Utah now for about 8 years, and I actually love it. It's definitely a different place, but the company is based here in Utah. And I've met some of the most incredible people here that started this company with me, and it's really a team effort here, and we make sure to take care of our customers. But to explain a little bit about how it started, I was a cigarette smoker for about 7 years, and I didn't want to smoke cigarettes, and I know a lot of people that didn't want to smoke cigarettes, and I met this super passionate mixing. Like at the time, this guy was just, I didn't know what the hell he was doing, but he was mixing e-liquid. And this is when all the disposables were still in the industry, and you didn't really see any e-liquid. So anyways, he caught my attention. He said, dude, just try it. And I tried. So I tried to quit smoking, and I did, the very first attempt. And this brought such a strong testimonial to myself as somebody who's getting a degree with an emphasis in entrepreneurship anyways. You can imagine what that would do to you, because you feel like this isn't even in the market, but this is bigger than anything I have ever seen in my life, and I need to be able to share this with the market. And so from that day on, we started the company, and it's been on the up and up so fast ever since, and it's been such an incredible ride, and we like to have fun here at JJuice. So it's a great culture, it's a great company, and I love what we're building, and I love what we're sharing with the market.
Now, let me ask you real quick, for those people who are listening, for those buyers who are listening, and they don't know exactly what vaping is, can you explain to us, what vaping is? Because as you had just said, it helped you to quit cigarette smoking. So I know that that's not the primary use of the product, but I guess that is a side benefit for some people. So can you explain that?
The best way for me to explain vaping is, I would say that vaping is the digital age of smoking. So vaping is really, the way I see it now, it's a cultural phenomenon, and it's something that's here to stay, and it's something that is going to be around for, foreseeably now and in the future, for decades and decades to come. I think, the term vaping came from people like ourselves in the vape industry, companies like JJuice, because one of the things that we wanted to do is we want to disassociate from the term smoking, because what happens is as this industry evolved, electronic cigarettes, people just looked at it as like smoking. They're like, oh, they're smoking something. Well, after a while, us in the vape industry, we want to make sure that we weren't being considered as smoking, because we're not combusting something with flame like a cigarette. We are heating a coil element, and it's vaporizing the substances inside. So it's vaping, it's not smoking, and I think that's that's a little bit of a term that people are going to be much more familiar with in the future. I think it'll be a regular run-of-the-mill cultural term that people will adopt.
Now, what are the pros to vaping versus, say, traditional cigarette smoking?
I'd imagine that by this point, the general buyers or anyone here listening I think it's pretty obvious by this time that people understand the differences, but to explain a little bit, the science community and the health community have both come out and overwhelmingly supported this as an alternative to cigarette smoking. I'm not making any claims as the president of JJuice to say that this product is a drug by any mean, or that it is there to help you quit smoking cigarettes. But when you stop lighting a cigarette, that's what creates the carcinogens, and there's over 4,000 plus to 7,000 carcinogens within every cigarette that you smoke. And that's been studied more than anything in the United States, is nicotine and big tobacco and cigarettes. And so we know the harms of cigarettes. And now that this is becoming more of a cultural phenomenon, the digital age of smoking and vaping is coming into play, I think a lot more people are becoming familiar with the differences, but the benefits of vaping over smoking traditional cigarettes. I hope that makes sense. It's just the power of the product, and something else I'd recommend is we have great articles on JJuice.com, all things e-liquid and all things e-cigs, and it's a very quick, easy read, and it can inform a lot of these buyers about some of the things that's associated with it, the differences, and so that they can learn a little bit more about it.
Now, you brought up your website. Why don't we just stress what your website is, the address, so that the buyers who are listening can go there after this podcast is over? What is the website address and some of the best ways to contact you?
The website address is JJuice.com. It's VAPEJJUICE.com. And there the buyers can, they can navigate different articles through our blog on the website, but they can also go to the contact page, and they're welcome to contact us. We're here for their success, and that's been the overwhelming response from the market, and definitely our testimony in the product is sharing a 100% reorder rate with all of our accounts nationwide. But yeah, absolutely, it's to contact us on the website if they want to do it via email or anything like that.
Now, e-liquid or e-juice is gaining, huge momentum as a top seller in the smoking products industry. What makes JJuice e-juice better than other products?
That's a good question too, and that's kind of the toss-up right now, and that's where it's all over the place, and people have different opinions all over the place. But the first thing that I'd like to mention about JJuice is our manufacturing standards. Everything down from our cleanliness, like, for example, Kevin, we have an eye wash station in a clean room, and we have 3 ventilation systems up above to ensure that there's no dust and no debris, no hair, and it's cleaned and deep cleaned before fills and after fills and before we mix batches, and having a manufacturing facility and also ensuring the quality of the product is critical for buyers to understand. Also, nicotine. Nicotine's a hazardous substance, and if it's not handled properly or measured or calibrated properly through the equipment that we use, then it's very important. If I'm selling a 10 milligram bottle, that bottle needs to be 10 milligrams, and that's what's a little bit. That's something to be aware of for buyers, is to know that without the quality assurance in China or going through a very, very small end company, it's just kind of a toss-up, and it's up to them to trust it. Well, by going with JJuice, it does ensure quality, and it ensures that they're going to get exactly what they're looking for. And the other part of that is the ingredients that we use. So JJuice, we use the absolute highest quality VG and PG, flavoring and nicotine. All of our raw materials are purchased domestically. But I think something that's important about that, because I've had a few laughs with some other guys that I know here in the industry, but they say it's American made, but all of those suppliers of whether it's vegetable glycerin or propylene glycol or the nicotine, those actual raw materials aren't made here, so they're just buying it through a middleman. We have certificates of analysis, and we verify that everything is actually made here in the United States and purchased domestically here in the United States, and we don't dilute anything. So all of our VG, PG, which we call our bases, those are all organic. They're GMO-free, and we make sure to always use the absolute highest quality. Flavoring, the same thing. We have all the certificates. It's all food grade. And then the nicotine is derived naturally rather than synthetically. And this might not mean much to a lot of buyers that are on the line, but it does mean a lot to your customers, and they do notice the difference.
Now, what can a retailer expect when starting a relationship with JJuice? How easy is it for someone to get started with you?
My recommendation is if a retailer was looking to get started here with JJuice, I would say pick up the phone and give us a call. Our office number here is 801-331-8919. And we have a few account managers in-house at all times that deal with all of our accounts needs nationwide. We make sure that you have all the promotional tools, all the marketing needs, that your products are popping, that you have the top-selling flavors. And we also make sure that your customers are, that your employees are a little bit educated about it. We make sure because ultimately, our buyers know their customers better. And we just make sure that we can allow them to win.
Now, I was told that you were, a smoker, and you've brought up that fact earlier in this interview that you were a smoker for like 7 years, I think you said, and you quit by vaping. Is this common? Can others hope to enjoy similar results like you did? What kind of advice can you offer, having been there, done that?
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one, huh? Because quitting smoking, it's like how do you start? First of all, I guess I would like to preface it that. It's not, there's no bullshitting about it. The product helps you quit. And if I was going to say two things, I can only think of two things right now, but there's number one is commit. The person has to commit to quitting. And number two, it seems weird, but keep all of your habits. And something that I did, it was difficult for me, is, in being in college was, of course, I'm going to be drinking coffee and I'm going to be drinking beer. And those are both triggers. Or after a big meal, that's a trigger for a lot of people to go have a cigarette. And what a lot of people do is they create they put themselves in a I can't do this and I can't do that. And it felt like I got to quit drinking coffee and I have to quit drinking beer to quit smoking cigarettes. Otherwise, that trigger. My recommendation is after you commit, actually keep your habits. So if you're out having drinks with friends and your friends go outside for a cigarette, go out there with them. The only thing that you're replacing is instead of having a cigarette, you have your vaporizer with you. And same thing with coffee. If you like to have a cigarette in the morning with your coffee, you're just going to replace the cigarette with the vaporizer, but keep all your habits.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Now, you have a very wide selection of e-juice flavors. What do you recommend for first-time users? What products would you recommend that a retailer start off with if this is the first time they're going to go and stock a product like this?
So my recommendation, and what I've seen to be the greatest success for our accounts, is to start off with one. So, it's important to emphasize that we give our customers all the tools that they need to succeed. We make sure that the product is presented beautifully in their shop and it brings value to their shop. And so we have custom cases. And so inside those cases, they hold 15 flavors in all 3 nicotine strengths. So there's 3 rows. And my recommendation would be to start with JJuice's 15 top-selling flavors in all nicotine strengths, so the 18 milligram, the 10 milligram, and the 0 milligram, and then allow the customers to start coming back and build the reputation for the product, because once they vape JJuice, they will recognize a huge difference, and they will come back, they will tell their friends, and our retailers will make a lot of money. Kevin, to expand on this a little bit, we do have 30 flavors. So to address that, the great thing about it is when their customers are ready, and it's basically like, let me put my product on the line and prove it to you. But when their customers are ready and their customers are starting to ask for the other flavors, then they can go ahead and seamlessly get another case, and they'll have all 30 flavors in 3 different strengths, and it sets up and it looks so beautiful in these shops. And that's a big thing that we do, is we try to make the beautiful aesthetic of the whole product come to life in the shop. So, and that's what we do with our packaging. And that's my hope is that some of these retailers will check out JJuice.com and they'll check out the bottles themselves. And then to touch base on the very last product that we offer is we call it the JJuice Juice Bar. Now, Kevin, this product is product's blowing up, and this is. Now, if I can kind of explain a little bit, this is unique, and this is something that most people haven't heard about in this industry. It's 30 350 milliliter containers of 18 milligram JJuice and 30 350 milligram 0 milligram containers of JJuice. And what it allows the customer to do is it allows them to mix to their specified nicotine strength. So something like if they want a 6 milligram, they can mix to that. A 5 milligram, they can mix to that. If they want to mix Bonanza and strawberry, they can mix those two. If they want horchata and peach, they can mix those two. Blue Dog and Tiger's Blood. And for customers, it makes it custom to them. They come in there, and we have customers that come into shops, and we talk to them, and they tell us it's Razzle-Tazz and Popular Energy Drink. Half and half. I do a 9 milligram all day, and that's all they vape. They tell their friends, hey, I love this, and it brings more of a community and like a lively feel to the shop as well. So that's an interesting one. But I would recommend calling in and giving us, some feedback about your shop, some of the needs that you have, and allow our account managers to start kind of building something to help you win.
Dumb question time, but I've seen a lot of different types of vaporizers out there. What do your product, does it fit all different types of vaporizers?
Yeah, it does, and that's that's actually a really good question. Is because of the innovations in the different tanks, whether they're drip tanks or they're bottom feeding tanks or they're coils or they do different kind of atomizers or clearamizers or cartomizers. There's a lot of things that could be confusing in the industry, and I'm sure even retailers are confused by what's going on here. JJuice is compatible and works beautifully in every single tank that's on the market. Now, in regards to the batteries, it makes a little bit of a difference as well because they hit at different volts or watts, and that could change the vaping experience as well. But the most important thing for us is we stay at the forefront to make sure that as these innovations happen within all the devices, JJuice still provides the absolute best vaping experience every time to all of our customers. And I really do. I challenge some of these retailers to go on our website and check out some of the testimonials and just see some of the reviews on the flavors, because I really mean it. We do and are very passionate about creating the absolute best vaping experience, and that relates to happy customers. And for our retailers, it really does relate to making a lot more money in your e-liquid product line.
Yeah, and retailers want to hear that. That's magic words to them. Hey, I can make more money. They can stay in business. They can get return customers, which is a great thing. Now, if you can't tell your listeners right now the best ways in which they can contact you, we've covered that a couple of times throughout the podcast and towards the beginning, the middle, and the end now. Your website, telephone number, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, first of all, I think the best way to contact us is just call into the office and ask for one of our account managers, and we can figure out a little bit more about you a little bit easier over the phone. And that number is 801-331-8919. We're here to help, so any way that our retail accounts like to contact us, if they like to email or they prefer text messaging, we're here. You can also email us at hello@vapejjuice.com. And then the final way is if you'd like, you can visit vapejjuice.com and go to the contact page. And however you'd like to talk to us, whether it's in regards to marketing material, we have numbers for you, or sales, or shipping, or any needs that you have. We're here to make sure that our customers win. Their success is our success.
And Joe, thank you so much for joining us. This is Joe Deighan, president of JJuice, who has joined me today on the podcast. Stay tuned for upcoming interviews with the industry's leading movers and shakers. Wholesale.fm and the Voice of Wholesale talks directly with suppliers, manufacturers, liquidators, show promoters, trendsetters, and more. This is Kevin Gallagher, the voice of Wholesale.fm. Stay tuned for more great podcasts, and remember to check out our sister site, GetThatWholesale.com, the Internet's largest wholesale directory. You can contact me for more information on how to advertise or for an interview by calling 888-358-7822. Once again, that's 888-358-7822 at extension 707. Thank you.